Hey, welcome to the Riverside. This is Avett's story about the frogs and the turtles. Exploring the riverbank is so much fun. Jig and Mama say that I'm aviding about when I wander around. They think I'm wandering aimlessly, but there's a purpose to my wandering that they often can't see. I love finding beetles and other bugs around the riverbank. During the summer, I spend hours leaping from after grasshoppers that are kind of tasty, if you ask me. Sometimes I'll come across a dead bug, and those are fun to roll on. When I do, some of the smell attaches to my fur, and I can tell it's there later. But Jig and Mama don't notice the smell, so they don't give me a bath. I've found so many different kinds of bugs as I'm aviding about. I can't describe them all. There have been a few that have left a bad taste in my mouth, but for the most part, bugs are delicious. While aviding about, I've met a few animals that agree with me. The first are almost as much fun to play with as the bugs. I group them together because I can't always tell them apart at first, so I tend to think of frogs and toads as the same things, even though I know they aren't. Frogs are way tastier if I had to choose, but I've been trying to just play with them instead of chew on them. The funny thing about frogs and toads is that they are hanging out by the riverside doing the same thing as me most days, looking for bugs. When I come across a frog, they are often sitting on the edge sunning themselves, and I don't even notice them at first. Then all of a sudden they'll jump, which often makes me jump because I wasn't expecting it. One time when I was walking along the edge of the river, I heard some very little voices. Frogs and toads are hard to hear sometimes, but a lot of times they're saying, "I'm over here." Then a pause followed by, "I'm over here." Jig told Mama there's only one more month of school while we were out for a walk yesterday, which means it's May. Some of the frogs were making a racket in the swamp near the riverside. Mama said, "I hear peepers." I knew about frogs and toads, but I'd never heard about peepers, so I was kind of excited as we started walking towards it. There was a high-pitched chirping sound that kept getting louder the closer we got to the swamp. The crazy thing was that they were all screaming, "I'm over here! I'm over here!" There was nothing original about it. Like the other frogs I'd heard talking by the riverside, they had one thing to say, "I'm over here!" I wondered why they were all saying the same thing, so I asked Whitaker if he knew. He told me to go ask one of the frogs that was chirping if it was a boy or a girl. It told me it was a male. Whitaker told me to go ask another that was chirping, and it was also a male. Every peeper that was making noise while saying, "I'm over here," turned out to be a boy. I was near one peeper that wasn't making any noise, and I asked what it was, and I was told she was a female. So I asked, "Why are all the frogs saying the same thing?" She told me that they were looking for a mate, but frogs are lazy when it comes to the mating process. All the males want to do is lay in the sun and call out to us, "I'm over here!" And they expect us to come seek them out. Then they puff up their chests and make the sound that flips some kind of switch in our brains, and for some reason we can't resist. It's like they put some kind of hypnotic spell on us, and we must go find out who is making the sound and where it's coming from. I thought that was very strange, but it must work for them. I was getting a little tired of hearing the sound because the peepers are kind of like geese in the fact that they don't have much to say, but they say it way too much. You'd think they could offer up some kind of information like "tasty bugs over here" or "yummy grasshoppers this way," but no, it's always "I'm over here." Thankfully, Jig and Mama were ready to move on, and we got away from the endless chatter of, "I'm over here." We didn't get far away when I ran into one of my favorite animals to meet in the woods. I'm not sure they feel the same about our encounters, though, because I rarely get to see their faces, since they always pull them back into their shell. Turtles are so cool to come across while we are out for walks because they're quiet and never jump out from nowhere to scare me. In fact, I don't think I have felt safer with any of the animals by the riverside as I do when I'm in the presence of a turtle. They're so calm, and unless you say something to them first, they'll often say nothing at all. I did ask one of the turtles I came across what it was doing on the trail, and it told me it was moving from here to there looking for bugs and slugs to eat. I asked the turtle why it always ducks into its shell when I come around, and it told me it was for protection. It said that turtles have very delicate skin that can be pierced easily by predators, but if it withdraws into its shell, it's virtually impenetrable. I thought this was brilliant and wondered if I could handle having a shell to carry around with me all day. There are days when I get pounced. I wish I had a shell like the turtle. Thanks for listening.